All right. So welcome to Growing in the Vine Ministries here, and man, this year is moving along. We're almost halfway done. I actually got it wrote down in my calendar, the halfway mark of the year, and so I got a special sermon for that day, but it's coming up pretty soon. And so what I'm gonna talk about today is few things are necessary. So I'm about to show you how to simplify your life and show you how easy that this thing can be if you just do a few things. And I'm coming out of Luke, the 10th chapter, and it's going to be the 38th verse today. And that's right there at the end of Luke, so we won't have too many to read. We'll just finish up the chapter. But in life, there's a lot of work to do in life. There's a lot of work to do, but we only have to do our part. So we don't have to do everybody's part. What we have to realize in life also is that everyone has their own ministry. And so that's why this is so special to call this Growing in the Vine Ministries, because everybody can have their own ministry. And ministry, the only ministry's definition is a person or thing through which something is accomplished. Okay, so that's what ministry is. So next slide, Nancy, one more. Ministry is a person or thing through which something is accomplished. And so we're people, so something needs to be accomplished through us. And so we don't have to work too hard to do these, because my experience will be different from you all's experience. So everybody has different experience, and everybody comes into contact with different walks of people. So we can always be helping and uplifting them. And if you're doing what you're supposed to do, you not only help your life, you will help everyone else's life around you. See, so that's where people get this mixed up sometimes. They're like, well, I can just help my life. But no, if you're doing what you're supposed to, people around you will be helped, and their lives will be blessed and uplifted also. And so let's use we'll give a quick example before we read the scripture. If you take a basketball team, and I have to use old school basketball, because this new basketball, they don't even look like they're positions anymore in this game. They just play. But back in the day, when you were the center, you went down into the paint. You went down to the paint. When you were the center, you were the power forward, you were right around the paint somewhere. And then if you're the small forwards and different things, you're on the wings. And they gave the point guard the ball. But now with the game, it's changed up a little bit, but you knew everybody had their own job to do. And that's what this is about. So if you have your own job to do, it makes the whole body run more effectively. And that's what I want to show you guys here today. And so everybody's there, we'll go ahead and start reading here. And verse 38 here. And Jesus said to as Jesus and the disciples continued on their way to Jerusalem, they came to a certain village where a certain woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. Her sister Mary sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he taught. So with this setup here, Mary and Martha are sisters. And if you know just a little bit of the history of this, their brother was Lazarus. So if anybody ever heard the story of Lazarus and what happened with that, so they're all related here. And this story here doesn't talk anything about Lazarus. So really, Jesus kind of had a little bit of a history with them. So you see them a little bit throughout this Bible here also. So verse 40, but Martha was distracted by the big dinner she was preparing. She came to Jesus and said, Lord, doesn't it seem unfair to you that my sister just sits here while I do all the work? And then she says, tell her to come help me. And isn't that interesting? Because she's upset. She's upset that her sister isn't helping her. And so she's trying to prepare a big meal and all that. And interesting little story. It was a guy one time. He was an overnight stocker. He was an overnight stocker at a grocery store. Well, just pick anyone you want, Walmart, Kroger, it doesn't matter. And the boss ended up showing up one night to the store. So the boss shows up to the store, and so he couldn't wait. He goes and runs up to the boss. Man, boss, nobody's doing this. They're doing that. He didn't do no work tonight. He didn't do this, and he didn't do that. So the boss said, man, he said, all right. He said, good. He said, man, I appreciate that info. But he said, you're fired. And so the guy's like, well, why are you firing me? And because he was so busy worried about what everyone else was doing, that means he couldn't have been doing his job. And so sometimes for us, we think that we're paying attention to what everybody else isn't doing around us, that we're so busy that we're not doing what we need to do in life. And so that's what happened to this guy here. And if anybody's worked the job, yes, it does happen. People don't help, people don't, but as long as you're doing what you're supposed to, you'll be fine. You will be fine, and don't worry about what everybody else is doing. And that's what Martha kind of is doing here. She's kind of telling on her sister, well, Lord, tell her to help. And so let's see what Jesus says, what's he's going to say to her about this, see if he makes her help or not. In verse 41, but the Lord said to her, my dear Martha, you are worried and upset over all these details. There is only one thing worth being concerned about. Mary has discovered it, and it will not be taken from her. Wow, so that didn't seem like Jesus was on her side when he told her. He didn't say, well, go help your sister. It didn't sound like he said that. He sounded kind of like he said, just chill, leave her alone, just take it easy. And so when I got my title of my sermon here, a few things are necessary. The NIV actually says, Martha, Martha, the Lord answered, you are worried and upset about many things. And I don't know, it's kind of interesting if my kids are saying that. If Jesus would have been talking nowadays, let my kids tell it, he'd have been asking, you mad, bro? That's kind of what he might have said, you mad, bro? And then verse 42 says, but few things are needed, and indeed only one. Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken away from her. Wow. And so sometimes in life we get bogged down with things that are happening in our lives, and that's just life. That's life. It happens. And you hear people say, man, I'm too busy. I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to do that. And that might be true, but are you busy or are you fruitful? Because there's a difference between those two. So sometimes, and I've said, man, I'm busy. I don't have time for that. But are you really busy or are you being fruitful? Because there's a difference. Because if you have a car and your car is stuck in the mud, you're there and then, man, your tires are just spinning. Your tires spinning. They're just spinning. And the gas is burning. So the gas tank might be moving too. But the car's not going nowhere. So the car is busy, but nothing is changing. Okay? So doesn't that feel like our life sometimes? We're just in motion. We're in motion. But nothing seems to change sometimes. And that's what I want to show you here today. And when you're going through the motions sometimes just of life. And so I want to show you how you can get some things accomplished here in life. And when you look at Martha, Martha was busy doing a good thing. So that's not a bad thing, because as Christians, we try to teach people, well, help each other, help do things to others. And so Jesus was over there. She's having a barbecue. I'm calling it a barbecue. She's having a get together, so a big dinner. And she's trying to entertain people and be a blessing to people and get things in order. Okay? But it ended up kind of backfiring on her. So sometimes in life, you can get so busy that you can miss a visitation with Christ. Okay? Oh, go change the slide, Nancy. I'm sorry. And so you can be so busy in life doing a good thing, but not the right thing. Okay? So that can happen. We can go through the motions and we can be busy doing good things, helping people, producing. But is that what we're put here to do? See, because in life, if you do the right thing that you were put on earth to do, it will also be the right thing and it will be a good thing. Okay? So we have to pay attention to that. And that's the one I was talking. So she was so busy in life that she missed her visitation with Jesus. And she was missing out on that. But Mary caught it. Mary caught that, saying, all right, well, I need to pick up what he's putting down. Because when Jesus, he stopped at a lot of people's houses, but he's actually there, visitation, God with us in somebody's house. And Martha was so busy that she was missing on what Jesus is saying. So when we look at this, so what is Jesus saying when he says few things are necessary? What is he saying with that? And let's look at that here. And when he's doing what he's saying here is the things that are necessary in life is listening to Jesus. That's one of the main things that is necessary in life, is listening to Jesus and putting God first. And because if you put God first and foremost into your life, things start falling into place. Things start happening. All right, things start changing. And you have to be a little selfish with that. I know it seemed mean what Mary was doing, but she was doing the right thing, listening to Jesus. And if you can do that, be a little selfish, where it says love the Lord God with all your heart, all your mind, all your soul, and then love your neighbor as yourself. So you have to put God first in your life. See, so she had the order right. She was putting God first in everything that she did. And Martha wasn't. She just kind of missed that. And for me, the older I get in life, the less busy I get. I can actually say that. The older I get, the less busy I get. And the only reason I say that, because yes, my life is very busy, but I know what I'm working towards. I kind of have a plan and a goal of what I'm trying to accomplish. And so sometimes when certain things don't line up with my plans and my goals, I kind of have to see where that fits into my life. Okay. And so that's what I'm saying. I get less busy. So I have my business of what I want to do, but I do see things being accomplished in my life because I have certain things planned out. And I do fit, I can fit people into my schedule, but I'm like, okay, well, I have this time free, so maybe we can get together at this time. Maybe we can do this. And so that's why my life, I say, is a little easier, less busy now. But I remember when we first bought a house, my wife and I, we were living in a townhouse, and life was great. Life was great living in an apartment, because anything that went wrong, I just called the people, they come fix it for me, and it wasn't no hassle. And so I was like, man, I don't know how people have bad relationships, because this is cool. This ain't bad. But I understood when I first bought a house. Relationship changes now. So then you hear your wife saying, all right, baby, we need to fix this. We need to fix that. So when we first bought our house, my wife had me out there trying to clean gutters, trying to cut trees down, and different little things like that. So it was a very, it's a funny story now, but it wasn't funny at the time, because she finally talked me into renting one of those pole saws. We were renting a pole saw one day. And I should have told her right then, a few things are necessary, baby. I shouldn't be doing this. And as I should have told her back then. But so we were in a pole saw, got me talking, talked me into it. And so I go and I climb in the tree. I climb in the tree to start cutting a tree limb down. And you see a tree, the limbs don't look big at the time, but when you start cutting, for some reason, they get real big when they're falling down to the ground. So I'm in the tree, I think I'm pretty safe, and I'm up there, I'm cutting this tree down. I'm trying to trim this tree. And so I said, all right, I'm gonna hit it this way, and then it'll fall that way. And so I'm in there, I think I'm safe, and got that tree going. And then all of a sudden, the branch starts falling. I see it fall, it's coming down right at me. I'm in the little loop of the tree. Branch smacks me, boom, hits me. Almost knocked me out the tree. It tried to knock me out, but my foot actually got stuck in the little tree bar. And so boom, and then the saw falls out my hand. And it was just the grace of God, because the saw flipped down and landed on the ground and actually hit my shoulder. So it could have took off my whole shoulder if it would have kept running, but it just cut off. So my wife comes running over there now. She's running now. She's sitting there watching, and oh man, it zapped all my energy. I got hit so hard by the tree, and I said, man, this is messed up. But long story short, I wasn't messed up. I was good. The grace of God, He protected me from that. But I shouldn't have been out there doing that. I don't know how to cut no trees, but my wife talked me through it. So next time I would tell her, few things are necessary. So if you're doing certain things in your life, say, hey, few things are necessary. The pastor told us today that few things are necessary, so I don't have to do those things. But that's what we can do in life. Sometimes we get busy, caught up doing certain things that we're not the greatest at. And so you can cut down on the busyness in your life, and then also you can get the joy back. So sometimes when you're so busy, you can't have joy in your life. And so we miss out on those. And so I'm gonna show you how to get the joy back to your life here. And let me show you how to do that. And it's kind of 3 steps to get the joy back to your life. All right. First step, put Jesus first. So that'll be the first step into getting joy back to your life, is putting Jesus first, okay? And once you do this, everything will start to fall into place, all right? So once you do that, everything starts to fall into place. And whatever you did previously, just always try to give God the same amount of effort that you did with everything else. So just keep that in mind. So you be like, man, this Jesus thing doesn't work, or this not working out in my life. But just put in the work, just put in the process, and just go through that. And this thing will start to work and start to change if you can put Jesus first. So next, put others second. Others have to come second. okay, in your life. If you want to get joy, others have to come second in your life. And you know you're doing the things of God when you help other people. See, one thing that kind of sometimes bothers me about ministry is that sometimes it seems like, and I'm not saying this for fact, this is just what I'm saying it look like sometimes. The pastor seemed like he put himself first over the people. And that's what the issues come in for me sometimes with that. But a God thing is usually when you are helping other people. That's a God thing, is when you are helping other people's lives and enhancing other people's lives, okay? And also, thirdly, this is what you have to do. You third. You put yourself third. You come last, okay? In life, you come last, because I guarantee you, if you put Jesus first, others second, you third, God will take care of you. I guarantee you. It has to happen that way, because that's God's promise. Seek ye first the kingdom, and all the other things will be added unto you, okay? And so you take care of God's business, God will take care of your business. If you are a blessing to others, you will be blessed. So whatever you do, that's what you will get back. And that's what my wife and I talked about a few weeks back. Whatever you do, that's what you get, okay? So that's with anything in life. And so when you start doing this, when I say Jesus first, others second, you third, that actually spells out joy. That actually spells out joy. And so you will get the joy back in your life if you can start doing those things. And that will also help you to start to declutter your life also. That will help you to declutter everything in your life. And so when you look at what Jesus told Martha here, and just keep this in mind for the week, all right? And he said, few things are needed, indeed only one, and Mary has discovered it. And now you have two. So that's all you have to do. Put Jesus first, and everything will fall into place in your life. And that's my talk for the day. But thank you guys for coming, and be blessed.